Good evening, my viewers. Welcome back to my channel. African Crab here. Today I am bringing you a new stitch. This is what I am calling the cotton puff stitch. My son said it looks like a field of flowers. Do you think the same? Well, growing up in Africa, we had these cotton fields, and when the cotton buds opened up, they looked like that. And so to me, they look more like cotton puffs. Right there. Anyway, because they're made of puff stitches, I think that's what came to mind. However, I'm sure there's some names out there for this particular stitch, but I am calling it the cotton bud stitch. It makes for a beautiful, beautiful scarf. Look at that. And it's really soft. Now, I've also used a really nice yarn with a bit of sheen on it. I am using Big Twist yarn, Tranquil. This one is color Sand Dollar. It's called the Sand Dollar. It literally looks like faded gold. It's beautiful and very soft. 371 yards. You're going to need 2 of these if you want to make this scarf the size that I have currently. That is a total of 742 yards. Now, if you cannot find this one, because this yarn was sold by Joanne Fabrics and they went bankrupt and closed most of their stores, you can use Hobby Lobby's Yarn Bee. Top Secret is similar. It has that nice sheen to it. Now there's less yardage for the Yarn Bee. This is 300 yards, and I would recommend you need 2.5 of these, or even 3 if you want to make your scarf longer and wider. The other alternative is using Simply Soft by Karen, which has a similar sheen to it. Simply Soft by Karen, this one is lavender. And it's only 315 yards, which is slightly bigger than Yarn Bee. You still would need at least 2.5 or 3 if you use Simply Soft by Karen. Okay, so I am currently not using the recommended hook size. This yarn recommends we use a 5.5 millimeter hook. However, I am using a 5 millimeter hook only because I have semi-loose tension. I recommend you use the hook that is recommended by the yarn that you're going to use. If you have tight tension, use a hook size bigger. Okay, that will make for better work. Not too tight, not too loose, because you do need flexibility with your puffs. Okay, so without much ado, let's go ahead and get this started. I'll set this aside and move my camera a little lower so you can see what I'm working on. There we are. So I'm going to be working on a swatch the size of the scarf that I currently have here. So without much ado, let's go ahead and chain a total of 42 stitches. That is 42. It's relatively long, so my scarf width measures 9 inches. So to get started, you're going to put a single crochet in the second stitch from your hook. This one does not count, so that's your first stitch right there, and the second one is right next to it. We're going to work a single crochet in there. This is a 1-row repeat pattern, so it's pretty easy and it works up pretty fast. We're going to skip 2 stitches, and in the third one, we're going to work a puff stitch. To work a puff stitch, you're going to need to yarn over, go into the stitch, yarn over, pull through. You're going to have 3 stitches on your hook. You're going to yarn over, go back into the stitch, yarn over, pull through. You'll have 5 stitches on your hook. Yarn over again, go into the stitch, yarn over, pull through, And now you have a total of 7 stitches on your hook. We're going to yarn over, pull through 6. That will leave you with 2. Yarn over, pull through. And that's how you make a puff. We're going to chain 2. We're going to put another puff stitch in that same stitch. Chain 2. And then 1 more puff stitch in the same stitch. Okay, so it is crowded in there, but it works out just fine. So we have a single crochet at the beginning, skip 2 stitches, a set of puff stitches, and then we're going to skip 2 more chains, 1, 2, and in the third we're going to put a single crochet. And this is a repeat. Single crochet, puff stitch, single crochet, puff stitch, okay, until we get to the end of our row. So we're going to work the next set of puff stitches. We're going to be putting 3 in that particular stitch. We're chaining 2 in between each puff. Chain 2, and then 1 last one. When you finish with your last puff, you're not chaining anything. There you are. We're going to skip 2 more stitches and put a single crochet in there. Skip 2 stitches, work another set of puff stitches. Three puffs in this stitch. That's the first one. This is the second. Chain 2. And the last one. We're going to skip 2 again. Put a single crochet in the third stitch. Skip 2 more, and in the third we're going to put a set of puff stitches. And this is pretty much the repeat until you get to the end of your row. This stitcher is good. This stitch is good for beginners, intermediate, and advanced crocheters. For beginners, you need to know the basics of crochet. If you don't take time to go through videos that give you the basics on crochet, you're going to need a single crochet, how to make a puff stitch, and how to make chains. Skip 2. Let's work another puff set. Once again, this tutorial assumes you know the basics of crochet. As a beginner, you're going to need to know how to make the puff stitch and how to do chains, how to work a single crochet. Once you know those, this is a piece of cake. It builds up really fast. Chain 2, we're going to work another single crochet, skip 2, a set of puff stitches, let's try that again. The reason why your tension needs to be relatively loose is because if your puffs are too tight, your work will be stiff. Skip 2, work a single crochet, skip 2, and then work the very last stitch. You're going to need to work only 2 puff stitches. Chain 2, so there is your first row. It's relatively wide, but as you build it, it will look good. Let's see. There you are. That's how wide it is. I like my scarves wide, so this could be your super scarf pretty much. Okay, so let's go into the next row. Bring this back up. Chain 1, turn your work around. The top of your previous puff stitch, right there, we're going to put a single crochet. So for the rest of your project, you're going to begin your row with a single crochet and end your row with 2 puff stitches. Okay, so we're going to skip that puff stitch, and in that single crochet from the previous row, we're going to work our puff stitches there. For every row going forward, your single crochet is where you're going to be putting in your 3 puff stitches. And at the top of your second puff stitch, you will put a single crochet. So let's go ahead and do that. We've put a single crochet at the beginning, and in your single crochet stitch, we're going to put 3 puff stitches. This is 3 puff stitches, first, second, and third. At the very top of the second one right here, we are going to put a single crochet right there. We're going to skip that puff, and going into the single crochet here, we're going to put 3 puff stitches. And this is pretty much your repeat. So work 3 puff stitches in the single crochet. Remember, you're not chaining anything. Once you're done with your third puff, you're going straight to the top of your second puff from the previous row and putting a single crochet right there. Skipping that puff, going into the single crochet here and working a puff stitch. Where you're working 3 of them. Chain 2, third puff stitch, the top of the second puff stitch, we're going to put a single crochet, and in your single crochet stitch, we're going to put a puff stitch, 3 puff stitches. That's the first one. Second, third, single crochet at the very top of your second puff stitch, single crochet stitch gets 3 puff stitches in it. Single crochet, puff stitch, chain 2 in between each puff stitch, at the top of your second puff stitch, we're putting a single crochet, and the last one will be put in that single crochet at the beginning of the row. So we're going to be putting 2 puff stitches instead of 3. As I mentioned, you will begin your row with a single crochet and end each row with 2 puff stitches. That's your repeat. Chain 1, turn your work around. Let's work one more row and then we can take a look. Single crochet at the beginning of your row, at the very top of that last puff stitch. And in your chain 1 space, we're going to work 3 puff stitches with 2 chains in between. And literally this is how simple this is. And it builds beautifully. I think this would make for a really, really beautiful Christmas scarf or a Christmas blanket. I need to try that. I haven't tried a blanket, but I believe this would make for a beautiful blanket. Especially if you use wool for the warmth and mohair. I've actually thought of using mohair yarn. I think this would work out beautifully. Because of the puffs, the thinner yarns would work amazingly well. So I'm going to try this using the mandala yarn and see what I get. If any of you use mandala yarn, please share your project so I can see what it looks like. I think it would really turn beautifully, especially with the colorways. But I found that the solid yarns look very beautiful, especially this one. It has this beautiful sheen that makes it look incredibly expensive. So let's walk through again. Begin your row with a single crochet and then work 3 puff stitches in each of the single crochet stitches following. And this is how simple and easy this stitch is, but it's incredibly elegant. If I'm moving too fast for you, you can slow the video down or pause it and come right back to it. You can pause it and start it all over again. It's not too long, so you can go back and forth until you're comfortable and are able to work your project without having to worry about the pace. I finished my scarf in exactly 5 hours, but that is because I move pretty fast. If you're a beginner or an intermediate crocheter, do not speed it up. Take your time and your work will turn out very professional. So as you can see, we're starting to see what it looks like, right? So let's work one more row together and then I'll let you guys work your own. So we're back to the end of the row. We've chained 1 and turned our work around. And in this very first stitch on top of your puff, we're going to put a single crochet. We're going to go into this chain 1 space and put 3 puff stitches with chain 2s in between. Put a single crochet at the top of your second puff and then a set of 3 puffs in the single crochet space. It is a stitch actually, not a space. And at the very top of your puff stitch, second one, single crochet. In your single crochet stitch, put 3 puff stitches with chain 2 in between. And this is your repeat pattern. As I mentioned, it's a 1 row repeat, but it is one of the most beautiful stitches I have worked with yet. This will make for a great gift. If you make a blanket out of this, please share with me. I have a Facebook fan page, The African Hand, and I'm on Instagram as The African Hand as well. If you want to buy this particular yarn that I have, that I'm using, I'm selling it in my shop. Visit me on Etsy. My shop name is Africancrab. Africancrab.etsy.com. I'm selling the yarn. If you like the yarn bee, it's sold by Hobby Lobby, and I believe you can buy it online. I believe some sellers on Etsy have them, Amazon has them, or you can buy it directly from Hobby Lobby. Now, you do not have to make your scarf as wide as mine. You can work a smaller one. If you want half of this, you can chain 23 to make the scarf smaller, just to begin with, so that your work can be done in a shorter period of time to give you that satisfaction before you take on a bigger project like this one. And so we're back to the end of the row, and in our single crochet here, we're going to put 2 puff stitches. Oh, I put that in the wrong space. Let's work that puff one more time. And the top of the second stitch here is where we want to put the single crochet, and then in our last single crochet here, we're going to put 2 puff stitches. And there we are. So that's what it looks like. And once you've worked as many rows as you want to work your scarf into, you will end up with your scarf just like mine. This is what mine looks like. All right. So once again, if you're new to my channel, welcome. Please hit that subscribe button so that you get updates when I upload new videos. If you're a returning viewer, thank you for supporting me. Please give me a thumbs up if you like this video, and leave me a comment below. I will see you in my next video. Thank you.